When I needed to hire Dan Miller, he's my number one. He's the president, and he shifted a lot of things. There's a company called Cowen, and they were our bank. They were the people that did the deal for us. And I called Eric. He was on my board, and I said, I need to find the baddest ass person in the world for this position. So he goes, you got to call this lady Blair Miller. She's really good at what she does. So I call her. We spent 3 days talking on the phone, and she calls me up a week later, and she goes, I got your guy. And I go, aren't you supposed to give me like 10 resumes? And she's like, if you could get this guy, he is the best at what you're looking to do. I brought him on. We did a kind of a test run, 6 months as a 1099. Make sure we get along great. I recommend that for anybody.
100%.
And then we brought on a CFO, and then we brought on a really great controller, and then we brought on a what is it called here? Blake came on as corporate development. We really spent a lot on our HR team, and we have a well-rounded company. And what I've noticed is I'll spend a lot more money on the best. And here's the way to get the best people in the world is an equity incentive program or profit units.
Yep.
So the way that profit units in an equity incentive program work is they don't get anything of where the company's at today. So let's just say the company's worth $100 million. That's the line that they come in at.
Okay.
So if we get it to $500 million and they get 1%, then they make $4 million. They make above that threshold. So it helps for recruiting, but it also helps them really try hard and not turn over.
Yeah.
Because they're like, if I leave, if they get fired or leave on their own, it washes the vesting period. So I think equity incentive programs are the number one way to grow a business. And when you do an IPO, it's stock options. It's the same thing, but it's a public traded company.
Yeah.
So they just give stock options, and that allows them to basically have golden handcuffs.
Yep. Yeah, in my real estate company, I only own 42% of it myself. The other 58% is owned by my employees or my partners/employees.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, because I wanted to make sure, like, and when at the time when it was kind of negotiating all those things in the beginning, there was that like the greed part of my soul was like, oh, I don't want to give up equity. That can make a lot of money. But what I just realized is that it's not a cost; it's an investment. So my team, like a dozen people, have equity in those deals. Like, they are so bought in. I mean, they work way harder than I work, like, because they're so bought in, because it's going to change all their lives.
Yeah, it does.
Huge way.
A lot of people, you got to be very careful when you're giving equity away.
Yeah.
And there's different vesting periods. It could be time-based,
Yep.
but it also could be performance-based. You don't have to use equity. There's other units that just are a set amount.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to give more than $300,000 away, let's just say it's lower in the org chart, you could give $300,000 away over 4-year vesting. So there's so many ways to do it. Actually, at the Freedom event, that's one of the biggest questions I get is how do you do performance pay? How do you do an equity incentive program? So we're going to be covering that.
I love it.
And then right now, I think is the time to be leaning out your company.
What do you mean by that?
Well, a lot of people, the first thing they do is say, all these people, I got to be loyal to them. And one of them's a brother-in-law who's been useless for the last 5 years, but I got to be loyal. And I need to keep the entire staff. Versus, what do you do for the company? Because if the company goes bankrupt, then everybody's out of a job.
Yep.
So what I would say is now's the time to make sure you're top grading, leaning out, building systems, and every lead counts. Everybody says I need more leads, but I look at their leads and their conversion rate and their booking rate, and I'm like, guys, you could do more within these 4 walls than you're doing. You don't sell service agreements. Raise your prices, but raise your level and your value.
Yeah.
Raise your level of attentiveness with the client. Show more empathy on the phone. Get the people to care more, and you do that through culture.
How do you get rid of, when people build a business, they end up hiring their brother-in-law, and they hire their best friend from high school, and they build this little thing, and then it ends up sometimes taking off and doing really well. And at some point, you're like, all right, this was the C squad, or like these are my friends, and they were great, but now I need talent. And sometimes you have to lose the people at the bottom. I'm not looking at you, Alex.
He's talking about me.
No. Sometimes I've learned to hire at the top, so I hired Alex. But you have to get rid of the people at sometimes at the lower end. How do you do that? They're your friends. They're your family.
Well, I think it starts from the beginning. And this is what I would tell people is first thing you do when you hire a friend or a family member is say, listen, no matter what, Thanksgiving's got to go well.
Yeah.
So you'll never report to me and understand our relationship comes first. So you're never going to report to me because that's not fair. And just know that if you don't perform up to the level, we've got to make a decision for the good of the company. And if you go into that with that kind of, If you don't do this, I've seen father and son never speak again because of business. Like American Choppers. I don't know if they're talking.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that I think is important to set that up and not have friends and family report directly to you. Even when you're a small company, hopefully you could have a GM or somebody, CFO or, COO that someone's reporting to. And if you're a small company, it's called a GM. I hated when everybody started the C-suite at A1. I was like, what? Who? That's a fancy title, but I didn't really care.
I'm going to shift it a little bit here. Should somebody buy or build a business if they want to build wealth right now? Buy or build? Service. We'll go home service specifically.
Okay, so here's the biggest mistake that every business owner does is they don't have enough money when they start. There's a reason why I could build $1 billion business over and over and over because I've got hundreds of millions now to throw at it. So what's awesome is I get the arbitrage if I am a platform company. Because I could buy things for 3x and sell it for 10x. So the day I buy a company, let's just say I'm buying, for the sake, just chimney companies, right? Chimney repair and installation. They're doing $1 million of EBITDA. I buy them for $3 million.
Yep.
But because I'm an aggregator, I'm worth 10.
Yep.
So I buy them for 3 that day. I got $7 million of arbitrage. $7 million. And it's better than drug dealing because you can buy drugs in like Colombia maybe for this price and sell them here for triple or quadruple. But in business, there's actually a multiple that's greater than that.
Yeah.
And if you keep an eye on the business, it's so awesome. It's better, in my opinion, there's a reason Grant Cardone is going into HVAC and he's going into all home service.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
There's a reason why real estate's a great investment. No one's going to ever not say that. I mean, the Augusta tax rule, advanced depreciation. My building's in an opportunity zone. Like, I do a lot of this, cost segregation studies. Like, I do all this. But you look at what you could do at home service. And you know what? Everybody's trying to get into it, but I'm glad I got a 20-year head start.
Yes.
And I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so people want to partner with a guy like me because I don't lie, cheat, or steal. Like when I shake your hand, one of the questions was, what's your legacy going to be? Is like, I just keep my word.
Yeah.
Is when I met Tommy, my life was better because he actually didn't blow smoke up my ass. He did everything he said he was going to do. And when people partner with me, it doesn't mean your life's going to get really easy. Yeah. Because we got a commitment to make this company grow. But what it means is I'm going to help you make great decisions. You're missing out on marketing. You don't have the right KPIs. Your CRM is not programmed correctly. Like those are things I built. And I've got a whole technology team. So we develop a lot of stuff that's not created. The APIs into different things and help the machine learning happen. Like right now we've got an AI tool. It listens to every call when we're out in the field. And it makes sure we're offering service agreements. Do we offer a new door? Every customer gets offered a new door. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I never thought about that. But, yeah, if you got AI – listen to conversations and basically checklist your sales guys.
And it tells us
genius.
Like the platform we built for A1 would work for any company. Like none of our guys are allowed to sell doors. We've got virtual product specialists. We call it our torch program. You've got to transfer that to a call 1 of 20 people. They got 3 monitors up. They know what's in stock. They know if the customer qualified for the payment plan, which is when you're using financing, your average ticket goes up 40%.
Wow.
There's so many opportunities, and I don't know what someone would do if they got into this business now and had to learn everything that we've learned over the last 2 decades.
Yep.
But if you got money, I think home service is a great thing. But just understand it's not easy. It's not easy. Like people think, man, I'm just going to go do that. How hard could it be?
Yeah.
If you're ready to give up relationships, work weekends, nights, most people do not have enough money to invest, so they got to put sweat equity in for the first 5 years. And here's another big secret, is most business owners, they think they're owed something after 3 years. Like the husband and wife will talk and they'll go, we should buy the Harley. We should buy the second house in Prescott. We should, whatever it is, they always say we deserve it instead of delayed gratification.
Yep.
And that kills me because I'm like, why do you guys think you're owed something when this business is giving you so much back? Reinvest the money into that business.